Everybody ready?
Today, most of us take electricity and all that it provides for granted. We don't think twice about hot showers, or heating dinner, or turning on the TV. We just flip a switch or push a button. And most people don't remember how hard life was before the owner-member cooperatives formed East Kentucky Power in 1941. The men and women who founded our co-ops were guided by a simple philosophy that still holds true today. Rural people can work together to improve their quality of life by providing the most affordable, reliable power possible. Power for people, not for profit.
I saw the excitement in my mother's eyes of a very simple component, light. She could have light to where she did her work, kitchen, that was just fascinating to her. She loved it. That's all she wanted to do is play with that light. When she got her stove and replaced the wood stove, that all she had to do was turn a knob and she had instant heat. And she would not let anybody get around it, or she wouldn't let a speck of dirt get on it, because, man, she appreciated it.
I was about 7 years old before electricity came into our community, Brush Creek. My mother would cook our meals on a coal stove. We kept our milk in a spring to keep it cool, and we'd milk the cows twice a day. Enjoyed it very much. It's a good life, but it was hard life, you know. About a week before we got electricity, some men came in and wired the home to accept electricity. They set the poles with an old boom truck, and they pulled the wire with a mule up the hollow. They put a light bulb in each room, right in the center of the house. And when they turned it on, I thought, man, that's the brightest light I ever saw.
13 co-ops formed East Kentucky Power on July 7, 1941, 5 months to the day before the attack on Pearl Harbor. World War II delayed plans for the new cooperative, but in 1950, after the war was won, East Kentucky Power applied to the Kentucky Public Service Commission to build its own power plant. At that time, commercial electric companies didn't care for the idea of rural people producing their own electricity. But East Kentucky Power and the co-ops forged ahead and opened an office in downtown Winchester. Hugh L. Spurlock came from Jackson Energy to become general manager.
He was a very unique leader. He was the type of guy that demanded respect. I got to work under his leadership for probably another 10 or 12 years. It's hard to question success. He started it, he founded it. We're enjoying a lot of the benefits of it today.
Finally, after years of legal battles, East Kentucky Power and the owner-member co-ops prevailed, and in 1954 opened William C. Dale Station at Ford on the Kentucky River. Named for the co-op's first president, the $12 million facility was the first co-op generating plant in Kentucky. It produced power for 62 years until being retired.
What was that creed that we had to provide the consumer with that? The most reliable, most efficient, most economical that was possible. That's the reason people work. You had a downtime or something happened, they come in there and work till we got her back on the line, regardless what it took. All kinds of hours.
I took the auxiliary operator's job down at Dale, which is shift work, it's a plant operation, at the big salary of $1.55 an hour. We had the 2 units at Dale. They were 20 megawatt units. And I don't recall ever running both units at the same time. And I know there were times we would get down to 5 megawatts an hour. That was a touchy situation. But we'd hold on to 5 megawatts, and as daylight come, we'd pick the load back up. That was pretty interesting. 5 megawatts is a big load. Small company at that time, we had picnics, potluck picnics of the whole family. Just about everybody worked for the company. They knew their family, their kids, and everything.
Soon, the benefits of rural electrification spread across America and beyond, thanks in part to the vision of our founders. J.K. Smith, for example, from Fleming Mason Energy, helped organize East Kentucky Power and went on to bring electricity to people in Ecuador and nations around the world. He was the first head of the Kentucky Association of Electric Cooperatives and the driving force behind the Cooperative Finance Corporation, which established 1,000 electric cooperatives nationwide. To this day, J.K. Smith is honored in Washington, D.C., and his name lives on at EKPC's Smith Station. With demand for power growing rapidly, East Kentucky Power added its second plant in 1964 at Burnside on the banks of Lake Cumberland. And today, the plant features an advanced air quality control system and cutting-edge technology.
I've transferred down there in 1965. The dedication was there without being said. If we had a problem, we had an outage, forced outage, the employees were there. They'd work as long as you required them to work. They were dedicated to the appearance of the plant. I can't say how many vendors would come in, service people would come in, and just couldn't believe the cleanliness and the appearance. They really questioned how we would do it with such a small force. Our employees were truly dedicated.
During a Memorial Day weekend, we had a major tube rupture on Cooper 2. You knew that making that phone call to your maintenance guys to call them in on Memorial Weekend was not going to be well received, but I can remember each and every person that I called that day. They said, just give me some time, I'll be there.
I view my co-workers here at East Kentucky Power as family. And family is there through the good times and the bad. These employees were here with me when I got married. The birth of my first child, they brought gifts. Through the bad times of death of a family member or even sickness, those employees were there for me, and that's what family does.
In 1977, East Kentucky Power opened its largest plant, Spurlock Station, on the Ohio River near Maysville, with one 300-megawatt unit. It grew to become one of the largest, cleanest coal-generating stations in the nation. Hubert Smith was the first employee.
I just think it's the most wonderful place that a man could work. Everybody was treated like they were part of the program. They were all treated equally, no matter if he was a janitor or he was a plant manager. And they're first class, beyond anything you can imagine.
There's something special about the workforce at Spurlock and EKPC in general. It's got something to do, I think, with the cooperative model. The workforce is friendly, they're dedicated. Here recently, we had an employee that had a small son that was hurt pretty bad in a car accident, and he's been at his side the whole time, and the station decided, hey, you know what, we need to help him out. They had a hot dog fundraiser. Just last Friday, we got these bands, and they raised over $3,000 that afternoon for him to help him get through this time. That's family.
The system grew rapidly under CEOs Don Norris and Roy Polk. In 1993, construction of the combustion turbine units began at Smith Station in Clark County. Time and again, EKPC and the owner-member co-ops were national leaders, like in 1998, when our system helped launch Touchstone Energy, a national marketing alliance that made electrical cooperatives the largest utility network in the nation. In 2003, the co-ops added Kentucky's first renewable energy plants. A few years later, the co-ops built some of the cleanest coal-burning units in the nation at Spurlock Station. Each new plant made headlines, but much of the story of East Kentucky Power has been written here, along thousands of miles of roads, hills, and hollows where our line and substation crews work, keeping the lights on no matter what, in blistering heat and bitter cold, working every hour, every day.
When I first started East Kentucky, walking lines, we'd leave on Monday mornings and come back on Friday nights. I was talking to one of the linemen, and we were talking about a night that we worked between Berea and Richmond, and it was minus 36 wind chill factor, and we had to put a wire back up. That was cold. I've seen it when it was just blistering hot. But, you know, once you climb a 60 or 65 foot pole to do something at the top of it, you don't come down until you get done. And as far as I'm concerned, that's our number one job at East Kentucky, customer service. We have 16 customers, and we have to serve them.
Expanding the transmission system to keep up with our owner members' rapid growth was a challenge. But EKPC also had to adapt to today's interconnected grid.
Kentucky was positioned right between the north and south markets, and that posed a lot of problems for us. So in addition to dealing with all those changes, we had to make changes in our generation and our transmission to also address our members' growth. That was a huge challenge, and to build out and evaluate and maintain all that while learning everything about this new way to do business, that was a pretty big deal for us.
Through the direction and guidance of the board and CEO Tony Campbell, EKPC has developed and implemented a successful strategic plan and dramatically improved the system's efficiencies and finances. We've added a new plant to diversify our fleet of generating units with the purchase of Bluegrass Generating Station, and we've developed a safety program that has received national attention.
We were somewhat at the abyss, the edge of the abyss, when I came, and we really didn't have any choice but to turn the company around and make some significant changes. And here we are today. We're much better than we were 7 years ago. We've been very demanding and prudent of where we spend our money. And then PJM has given us an additional revenue source that's prevented us from having to have more rate increases.
Well, this 75th anniversary of East Kentucky Power marks our third anniversary in PJM, which gives us more access to lower cost market power, which lowers our cost to member systems and gives us more reliability and an outlet for our generation resources. Today we're making decisions that will set the glide path for the next 25 years for East Kentucky Power in terms of diversifying our resources with additional gas generation and renewable generation, and I have no doubt that we'll be well positioned on our 100th birthday.
The rating agencies have been watching. They took a look at our strategic plan when they came in. They've looked where our finances are. They've moved us up. We're a sound investment grade utility now and can borrow money from Wall Street.
We've improved our financial strength greatly over the last several years. That's helped East Kentucky in a couple of important ways. One is it gives us really unfettered access to financial markets and financing, so we can do about anything we'd like to do. Two is it's greatly lowered our cost, and that benefits our members because it flows directly through in either lower rates or deferred rate increases. What that does, that combination of strength and availability of financial resources, gives us the ability to do about anything we can envision that makes sense for East Kentucky and its members. I'd say the future is tremendously bright for East Kentucky. We've got all kinds of opportunity. We have the ability to execute it, and we got great employees who can make it all happen.
The employees at East Kentucky have made the safety program. What I learned was safety can't come from the top down. You have to believe in safety. It's something you carry with you and you carry it home to your families. I felt that safety was the one thing that everybody would have to hold hands and get around and pull together on that rope and bring the company together, and I think it has done that. The preponderance of the employees, if not all the employees now, realize that we are a family. We pull together and we protect each other. Everybody's pulling on that rope together, and that's why the company is as successful as it is today.
A new effort to add to the Cooperative's proud legacy is underway, with plans to create a cooperative solar project going into high gear. Kentucky's Touchstone Energy Cooperatives are hoping to construct thousands of solar panels on 60 acres in Winchester that will be visible to thousands of motorists as they pass headquarters on I-64.
This is going to be one of the largest solar projects in the state of Kentucky because our members have expressed an interest in renewable energy and solar in particular.
We'll adjust to whatever technology and fuel we need to, environmental regulations, whatever it is. I think East Kentucky's future is not so dependent on technology or the fuel, but really about who we are and how we conduct our business and our mission. We have a very strong tie with the people we serve. I think that relationship, that tie that binds, is what really is going to carry us into the future and help us succeed.
I started here in 1953, and this was a mud hole, and it's turned into a sight to be seen. It's one of the best companies in the state to work for, or maybe in the world.
From our humble beginnings, East Kentucky Power and our owner member co-ops today serve more than 1 million people across 87 counties. On this, our diamond anniversary, take a moment to think what power has meant for rural people and what the co-ops have done to transform Kentucky. Perhaps Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist John Ed Pierce said it best of all.
For the rural family, roads and power have had more effect than medicine or education, computers or television. Those first power lines, often attached to the sides of skinned trees, brought a new freedom, a new mode of life to the farm. They changed people's images of themselves. Roads and power lines, they changed the nature of life for rural Kentuckians.